Hi Gemini, welcome to your July reading. Okay, this month's reading is called Clear the Air. Now astrologically, you start the month off feeling rigid, opinionated, not very friendly. You really want to tell everyone what you have figured out in Mercury Retrograde, which is that, hold on, let's see what these cards are. A little bit of technical difficulty there. 9 of Pentacles, 6 of Cups, which is that you have everything that you need and the connections that are for you find you, and you have ultimate faith in that, and that you don't need anything else. And that 6 of Cups moment is not something that anyone can give you. It's not something that someone can be coerced into. You can't force someone into it. You can't cajole them into it. You have realized during Mercury retrograde your worth, 9 of Pentacles, but also that your connections are faded. And you really don't have to cater to anyone to fulfill your fate and your destiny. So you feel very complete, which may also add to the sharpness, because when you feel secure is when you are the most honest, and when you are the most honest is when you are the most brutal. So it's easy to start conflicts because you're so bent on telling everyone what you learned about them. You didn't just learn stuff about yourself in June, you learned stuff about them too. Now, at first, this may seem like a really great thing. You know, 9 of Pentacles, making a great impression. 6 of Cups, we're really connecting with people. But over the course of July, as Mercury moves into Cancer, you may find that your great first impression turns sour, and that what you have built up crumbles very quickly when you stop making an effort. You have to make a constant effort to be nice and productive and somewhat diplomatic. And whenever you stop making that effort, things get very difficult. Hold on, let me just grab this card. And then we have here the 10 of Cups. So part of why you are so bluntly honest is because you feel a certain level of safety in your emotional life. Either you are stable in a relationship, or you feel that long-term relationship coming in. You know the signs, you know the feeling you get when there is someone important coming in. And you've really just leaned into your fate. You're relaxing. You don't feel the need to run after anything, especially when it comes to love. On the 12th, between the 12th and the 13th, there is a moment where romance sweeps you off your feet. And whether you're with someone or not, you feel the full force of what you need, the kind of connection that you need. So be on the lookout for those dates. Now, it's very important that anyone out there that you have some sort of painful past with, someone who's still hurting or, you know, feels slighted by you, it's really important to clear the air with them. It's really important to not allow this energy to move past Cancer season. Just whatever it is, whatever you guys need to talk about, take the initiative and get that conversation out there, because you deserve to be in a place of financial and emotional security, and hanging on to someone because you don't know how to let them go is just not a good enough reason to put your happiness on hold and, you know, to compromise on it. So saying what you need to say is really important, especially if there is someone that you feel that you've grown past, grown apart from. And, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that you've grown so much. So you don't have to take it as this negative, judgy thing. You know, you aren't enough of this or you aren't enough of that. No, it can just as easily be, I don't want to hang on to things that are no longer for me. That's it. It has nothing to do with the other person. It has everything to do with you. Jupiter retrograde also wants us to revise some of the things that we hold on to long term and see if, you know, any of those things still serve us. I think you'll be surprised in July to find that a lot of what you thought you needed to be happy, especially materially, you just don't need. Another card fell. 1 second. Here we are. The Emperor. Okay, so the Emperor here for sure referring again to that Mars energy that wants you to say things in such a fiery way. It wants you to build connections really fast, but it also wants you to burn bridges really quickly. So you want to really be on the lookout for those days when you feel very cranky, because those are the days when you stand to really mess things up. You can be honest about where you were at and what you need, but if you are immodest, cranky, if you're bragging, if you're showing off, if you're taking undue advantage, unnecessary advantage, all of that is going to work to really destroy your reputation. The way I would like you to look at July is that everything you're doing is being scrutinized. And although you have this power back where you can say what you want, I just advise against it. So even though you're like coming out of the frustration of Mercury retrograde and a season where you shouldn't say much, of course, now moving into July, you're like, oh, I have all these things to say, but you have to run everything that you want to say through the filter of, is this good for my reputation? What does this ultimately say about me? When people are speaking of me now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, how is this going to fare? So that's where your focus needs to be. Until October, you have these work opportunities that keep chasing you. They keep finding you. These are long-term opportunities. They involve traveling. You may not be all that sure about every one of these opportunities. You may be a little bit hesitant and maybe thinking that they're, you know, above your head and, you know, perhaps you cannot keep up, but you absolutely can, and you should take these opportunities and not be afraid of them. You have to learn how to think bigger. Okay. Like I said, be careful with your reputation. By the end of the month, you're exhausted, you're frustrated, you need to meditate, you need to find a way to keep calm, to keep the inflammation in your body down. You need to not give them a reason to make anything up or talk about you. So if you know that you overshare, this is the time in July to make a conscious effort to not tell anybody anything. I know it's frustrating because it's month after month of don't say anything, but as you can see, there are such great benefits to playing it close to the chest, right? So on the 21st of July, we have this moment where you can cultivate and nurture your rest. You really need to rest starting the 21st onward. The 29th, Mars is so much wanting you to get into a fight on the 29th. So make a note of that. No matter what is going on, no matter who's pushing your buttons on the 29th, just keep calm. Make a game of it. You know, make keeping calm something amusing. Find the power in it. I think it would do you so much good to be able to see how much of a reaction you can have, the desired reaction you want, which is to get under people's skin, how much of a reaction you can have to people if you just allow them to do whatever they're doing and you allow yourself to be calm and not react. It takes so much power away from whatever they're trying to do. Whenever someone is trying to trigger you, it takes all their power away. It completely deflates them. But it also makes them feel really foolish because you exhibit your power over the situation by doing nothing. So July is an exercise in cultivating this power, in nurturing this power. You know, yes, it is a month where your reputation can be on the line, but it's also a month to boost your reputation and bolster your, you know, the image of you that's out there, and to bolster your success. It depends on the choices that you make, and those choices are predicated by your behavior. You know, this pattern you have of behaving a certain way or talking a certain way, that is what you're going to fall back on when you're cranky, when you're exhausted, when you're tired. It's impossible in those moments to have enough awareness to not do those practice things. So July wants you to examine, what is your default behavior? What do you resort to, when you are too tired to be aware, when you are too cranky or too exhausted to monitor what you're saying and to filter what you're saying. That fundamental difference is what July wants you to work on, is changing that default behavior. It's good stuff. Love you, love you. Hi Gemini, welcome to the second part of your July reading. Let's get into that first row, as that is what we are going through right now. Nine of Pentacles, doing great. On top of our finances, on top of our self-esteem. Money is good. Feeling content in that arena. For about half of us, as you can see from the next four cards, things are sublime. Six of Cups, 10 of Cups. The relationship you're in now makes you feel good. You feel really connected, even though you're not necessarily very much alike. There's just a deep sense of camaraderie there, which leads to the kind of romantic relationship where you can tell that the two people are genuinely friends. And it looks very positive. It looks, in fact, as if in July it could get even a bit more serious. Maybe you start talking way into the future, right? Now, the other half of us are feeling, we're both parties here are working off of this Nine of Pentacles energy. Some of you are bouncing right from that Nine of Pentacles to this Six of Cups, 10 of Cups, and wow, it's amazing. And then there are others who are feeling that Nine of Pentacles energy, and instead of it inspiring us in our current relationship, or to be in a relationship like the Six of Cups, 10 of Cups, instead it's making us turn our eye to what we don't have, and is producing a feeling of sadness, of lack, of loneliness, of heartbreak. The Ace of Swords says the second week of July brings you even more news that can make you testy. This stress that you may be feeling is another reason that Ace of Swords shows up, because your words are very cutting in July. So you gotta be really careful. Really, really careful. Some of you have some moments coming up, if you're in a committed relationship, where you're wanting your significant other to prove something or live up to something. Be careful with that. It's not the smartest month for us to have high expectations of others, because we're having a pretty hard time delivering ourselves. But even if you do hit a rough patch, it looks like by the 12th, we get to this 10 of Pentacles and everything is fine again. It does, however, give me pause that something can be so great and so dismal. You know who among you I'm talking to. Okay? That's not healthy. Now, also what we have here is a remembrance of the past. Even if you are very happy right now, you may find yourself thinking of a failed love affair. Something that perhaps you were able to avoid in Mercury Retrograde, and yet now you can't stop thinking about it or about them. This will continue into the second week of July, and you may hit a pretty low spot. When you feel that way, instead of beating yourself up for having useless emotions, be really kind to yourself and get as much rest as possible. Because if you can keep yourself from projecting onto somebody and letting loose on them and letting your temper get the best of you, if you are rigid and intractable, you will let this Mars and Leo energy really mess with you. So the key to not saying anything that puts back all your progress, that sets new friends against you, that may ruin a budding romantic connection, the key is to not be rigid, is to not stick so doggedly, Four of Pentacles, to what you think you know, or what you think you want, or what you think you believe. It's Jupiter retrograde. Everything is getting revised, especially the things I just mentioned. To have the Four of Pentacles attitude during a Jupiter retrograde is asking to get burned, right? That train is leaving and it's taking you. It's either going to take you sitting in a luxury car and, you know, in a wonderful climate-controlled cabin, or it's going to take you dragging behind it. How you get there is up to you. The fact that you are getting there is what you seem to be focusing on and fighting against. But there is a part of that that is up to you, and I suggest that you focus there. You also have, this Aries card says, some directional decisions to make. What's the next step for your career? What happens next? We're not just going to sit down and rest on what has been done so far. It's not that it's not enough. It's just that you have so much more to give. And the more upfront and authentic you are about who you are, the sooner we can get to it. Now, authentic and bragging are not the same thing. Try out a little experiment in July. Be authentic, but modest. On the 11th, you have Mercury moving into Cancer, so also there you have that 8 of Swords, because of course that's our planet, and it moves into a space that we are not all that adept at navigating. So on the 11th, if you feel that dip, that's what that is. Taking you back into those past feels. This can, from the 11th till when Mercury moves into Leo, that time period where Mercury is in Cancer, from the 11th to the 27th, it can cause this moodiness that comes and goes, comes and goes. You see it in every row. You see it in the top there with the Five of Pentacles, but more so in the Three of Swords. You see it here now, like a wave it comes, then the Ace of Swords and the Eight of Swords. And then it ebbs again, and then it flows again to this Two of Swords. But by the end of the month, even though your mood is all over the place, and I know this is going to sound crazy, trust it. Trust it, because the success here is a windy road anyway. You can't rush there. And you have until October to really get this together. Well, if you want to be really smart about it, until September. If you can get things organized, if you can get healthy, if you can get on top of whatever it is that you want to get done until, by the fall, if you can set your deadline back 1 month, so give yourself 1 month less and get done in September, that would be so good, and it'll open up even more doors for you. 10 of Wands. Now, the best way to make sure that nobody is out here saying anything about you is to say nothing. Okay? You're exhausted. You shouldn't be doing a lot of public speaking right now anyway. Okay? You need to be meditating. You need to be keeping calm. You need to be keeping quiet. Now, I've heard a lot of comments about how frustrating it is to hear, as a Gemini, month after month, keep quiet. Well, if the patient doesn't survive the cure, it's not much of a cure. You can use your words in lots of ways, and of course you're welcome to use your words all the time if that's what you like. But if you want your words to be effective, I have often observed that to speak at the right time and say only what is necessary will bring you the ear of important people and the respect of most anyone. And I would hope that as a collective we would be cultivating that sort of power, because we're already so good with words. And so how much more powerful would we be if we were not just good with our words, but also strategic with them. Okay, so I know that goes against a bit from our very celebrated perception, and it's very true that we are in the moment and we are like children. And I'm not asking you by any means to become conniving, but if we can use silence as a strategy, okay, even that can bring great benefit. For example, if you can make it to July 29th without losing it, there's a very high chance, very, very, very high chance that there is no maligning, there is no terrible thing coming out, there is no wave of popular opinion against you, because you are nurturing your rest and your peace, and you're not allowing anyone to put you in that space. But Mars in Leo is going to try over and over again to get that reaction out of you. And it can put you in a really tight spot. Now, for those of you who are like, okay, I already went ahead and did that. I am early. I did it. I was stubborn and I said something stupid, or like I ruined something, or whatever it is. Okay. Now we're going to have to move away from that. 2 of Wands, get back on the right road, 10 of Wands, and don't say anything else, the High Priestess. So you see, we begin with this 9 of Pentacles, high self-esteem, feeling good. We end with the High Priestess, high self-esteem, feeling good, even more powerful, even more removed, even more quiet. When your superpower is words, how and when you use them becomes everything, because they're like weapons. Okay? That you can learn in July. And a huge component of using your words as weapons, but not unintentionally the way we often do, a huge part of that is timing. And timing has everything to do with silence, but more so, the High Priestess says, with not being reactive. You don't want to give away to anyone how you're actually feeling right now, no matter what's going on. Because you're in the midst of quite a cosmic game here. This is quite a way to learn a lesson. But I suppose this is the only way for you guys, for us guys, for all of us. Collective, dual-natured folks. It has to kind of pick us up and throw us around before we even realize that we're having Four of Pentacles moments. And for those of us who are well aware that we have these Four of Pentacles that we really don't want to let go of, July takes another crack at it. And I have a feeling that Mars in Leo can finally dislodge it. So rejoice, your freedom is at hand. I love you, love you. If you would like to take a look at the extended, it will be on Vimeo. There will be a PayPal link. And if you would like to get the videos early, like the first part of this video was out a couple weeks ago, head on over to Patreon, where this second part will be as well as the extended. And you can also join the Gemini plus the Za tier and have access to the meditative walks that we do in the mornings. If you are interested in personal reading, there's a Cameo link below. If you are interested in these beautiful rings, these are the Revolution rings. This is the World and this is the Empress. There is a link for those below as well. And last but not least, if you are interested in a look at the daily transits and how they apply to your signs, come on over to @the Quietest Revolution and join the Rev Fam. Love you, love you. Let's take a look at this extended. I'll see you there right now.